Toby. In the middle, excellent. Stem up. Hey, Toby, right here. And some glass. Okay.
And then straight ahead, right?
Two.
Hi guys.
So you're gonna start with us if you will. Again. Right in front of you. Oh, yes. Beautiful smile. I know. And Michael, right down here. There you go. Stay right there. Never go over the shoulder. Because I did the first one. You did a lot of this first one. It's really hard. Never can, right in front of you. Level up. There we go.
Hey guys, everybody right here in the center.
Guys, right here.
All eyes to the right side of the photographer.
Everyone to the right. Hey!
All to the far side of the photographers. Now all eyes towards this.
Alright. That first guy right here.
You're hiding. I can see you.
There we go.
The show is really powerful and I think thought-provoking and important. I'm very happy to be a part of it. I play a marine biologist in 2046 called Rebecca Shearer, and technology has developed to the degree that we can translate whale song into human language, and I am communicating with the last humpback whale. I study animals as they go extinct, so it's very emotional and very poignant and moving, and Meryl Streep voiced the whale and plays my mother, which was a dream come true. I think my character is far more intelligent, far more dexterous with numbers than I am. I had to learn a lot of numbers, which was not easy. But I think she has a big heart. I could relate to the empathetic side of her and the dynamic between her and her mother, actually.
I played Carmen, who's a climate activist, and I think what I love so much about her is that she really is reflective of just all of the youth movements that have led the climate change movement generally. And so it was an honor to kind of tap into that and represent my peers. Extrapolations may seem so far off in this like larger than life world, but I think what it helps us do is use our imaginations to realize the direction that we're heading. And I feel like it does such a lovely job of finding so many avenues for us to engage in a climate change conversation, which can so many times feel unapproachable. I know it's even a new conversation for me to participate in because oftentimes it's hard to find what the connection is, and I think it does such an excellent job of drawing personal collections while making a great story. You're not watching a PSA.
I'm Omar Haddad in Episode 1 and Ezra Haddad, the son, in Ep 6. So I'm playing two different characters. I'm playing the father who works at Cope and trying to make the world a better place. And a couple of years later, you meet his son in this near future that is so different because of climate change, and you can have a vision, a glimpse into the future and see how it affects our youth in the future.
I play Rowan Chopin, who's sort of an environmental anarchist, if you will, and believes in a cause that's decently controversial and sort of takes matters into his own hands to better the world.
You know, I've always been very interested in environmental matters. You know, like almost 20 years ago now, I worked on an Inconvenient Truth with Vice President Gore and Davis Guggenheim. So after that movie, I spent a lot of time thinking, what else as a storyteller can I do? And it's never really left my mind, but right around the beginning of pandemic, I thought I really want to try and tell these stories this way. I want people to begin to think about the other things in their lives, the other news stories, where you'll find the seeds of climate change in all of them, whether we're talking about national security, food security. All of these things are the result of a climate problem that's growing. We need to stop making this a political issue. It's really not. It's a human issue, and we need all of our politicians and private enterprise and everybody to work together, because this is the biggest existential problem of our time. It's amazing that we were able to get this group of talent together to tell these stories.
It's a visionary series that's a look at 30 years in the future about how human life may change as the climate changes. Do we get a handle on it or not? And with a glittering, incredible cast of some of the finest actors on the planet, and a visionary look at how life on Earth may look in 20 or 30 years.
I am definitely experiencing what has been happening. We all are experiencing what's happening in the global climate change. So there's work to be done.
My character is called Nicholas Bilton, and he is a tech billionaire mogul in the near future, and he traverses the whole series in some form to the final episode. Hopefully we look back at this TV show in many years to come and see what the worst case scenario would have been, and that we did something different. I hope that this just highlights what needs to be highlighted, and that people watch it with an open mind and a feeling that certain things that happen in this series don't have to happen.
I play Geeta Mishra, who is a billionaire. She's an engineer and she's a CEO and has invented the first carbon-neutral cargo plane. And she is a little bit impatient with the government's take on what they're doing about global warming, and so she decides to play God and take it into her own hands.
Wow.
It is a global problem. Climate change is a global problem, and hopefully we all will take responsibility for our behaviors and do something about it. I hope audiences ask the question, can we be the heroes of our future and maybe make change?
I play Hannah in Extrapolations, and Scott Burns wrote and directed the show, and it's about what will happen in the future if we don't do something to stop global warming. And it's a bit scary, but also hopeful. I think there's a hopeful message as well. My character knows a lot about what's going on and the dangers of global warming, and she's very aware, but she doesn't really do anything to stop it. So I think a lot of people can relate to that, and I think sometimes I wish I did more to try to stop it. I think it's good to become aware of the dangers that we're in with global warming, and just to start the conversation and for people to care about it more, and hopefully some policies will change and we will keep our beautiful Earth as good as it is today.
I appear in episode 6 of the series, and the year is 2066. It's London of the near future, and society has changed quite a bit in terms of how we relate to each other. Obviously, you've got the backdrop of climate change, but our episode is really a love story of sorts. So I'm mainly acting with Tahar, who is wonderful.
The message of the story really is the kind of human spirit and the impact we can all have in the world, and how we can kind of transcend our conditions and make the world a better place. To me, it really is a story of how all of us can take action and have a positive effect on the world.
I play Elodie. She's a prime Gen Zer. I think that she's such a fun character. She's so bright and vivacious, and she's just so optimistic about the future potential of what we can do with technology. And I get to share an incredible episode with an incredible cast: Tobey Maguire, Marion Cotillard, Forrest Whitaker. It was great. What I hope that audiences take away from this show is a real deep thought of the potential crisis that we're getting very close to, and what we can do today in the now to make a difference. It's a very conscious, smart show. It really makes the audience, it challenges the audience, it forces the audience to look at the things in a harder way and really take full responsibility of our acts and what we can do and how we can be better people. So I'm so proud to be one of the small pieces of this puzzle, and it's a ride.
I was so excited to work with Scott, and I was so excited by his vision for the show. I feel like a show like this has been a long time coming. I've been really surprised and a little bit confused as to why there hasn't been this show before. And then when I heard he was doing it, I just really wanted to be a part of it. It was everything I was looking for in a show.